Now, former President Kufuor has been explaining the need for the fight against corruption to be intensified. He welcomed the establishment of the Special Prosecutor's Office, but he's also calling for strict measures by successive governments to address the menace. How would you score the NPP government as far as the fight against corruption is concerned? And we posted that on Facebook. Let's check out what you've been saying on Facebook. Okay, so, all right, so whilst we try to pull their messages, what do you think?
Well, this fight against corruption is going to take a long time, very long
considering
time.
Our attitudes,
yes,
considering the fact that people are always trying to defend what they've done, then it means we're not going anywhere.
But it's ingrained in our DNA. A lot of people have come to accept it as, you know, as a norm. Yes. So it's going to be very difficult. So if we want to really tackle it, we have to start with, you know, the upcoming generation.
The upcoming generation.
You know, because
so
I mean,
you think this generation
our
is
generation?
rot?
No, definitely not.
And it ain't
no
working
at all.
Anyway, let's check out what you've been posting on Facebook.
Okay, so Enoch Fifi Ankuma says Elvis Efri Ankra has been talking about corruption, and it's big news. $200 per coconut hasn't been resolved. Okay, I fail to understand that. Honorable Emeritus Akwanda says, we have to forget, how can corruption be eliminated whilst the people are corrupt themselves? And Bayer Jeremiah says 5/10 for the fight against corruption. We still have a lot of work to do as a nation in the fight against corruption. We also have more comments. Yabua Solomon says, okay, let's take Papi Hoya. He says, the same as the NDC. In my opinion, the best way to deal with a corrupt person is to make him refund state cash with interest, have his assets confiscated by the state, and execute him. Okay, so Yabua Solomon has says, on the scale of 1 to 10, I'll give them 4/10. That means they did not meet the pass mark at all. Also, Marcus Mawulinam Amemo says, ask Kwesi Nyantakyi. Why that? Ask Kwesi Nyantakyi. Why is he an authority on corruption? Now, Bayer Jeremiah says, what has he done? The very question that we're all asking. And Marcus says, Bayer Jeremiah is not what he has done, but what he had said. Do you know Nyantakyi at all? If you do, then your question is irrelevant. But if you do not, then dial FIFA.com for answers. A 0 mark to you know, those who say they are fighting corruption. I guess authorities in power trying to fight corruption. So not very good news there.
And more
are very bad.
Your comments are also on WhatsApp. Let me start with this one. What did you write there? You didn't add your name. Please always do add your name. It says the NPP government is corrupt as the NDC government. They are all the same. They all play tricks on us. And he's just added the name. His name is Nana. This one is coming from Prince from Sunyani. He says, I think the government is on course. He's left with us as individuals to change our mindset. I rate the government 7/10 as far as corruption is concerned. Asari, he says, Aisha, the story is not different from the previous government. I rate them 1/10. And Free, okay, so someone is talking about a free Ankara. This one is coming from who? Joshua Goka. He says this issue with corruption can be kept if Ghanaians change their mentality that corruption can't be eliminated. As Honorable Martin Amidu started something, the question he's asking. And let's see Ndamba. Okay, Ndamba just deleted his message. Let's see this one from who? You didn't add your name. He says, good evening, Aisha. 30% of all the political parties are playing musical chairs with us. And Robert Boucher is the one who sent that from Somenya. And this one says, Efri Ankara has said it all. They are all corrupt. Let's look at this. Who says, 111 ministers is corruption by itself. MPP can't fight corruption. Those are some of your comments on WhatsApp. Now, doctors at the Confanoche Teaching Hospital have expressed worry about the low level of knowledge of cervical cancer among the population. They say the situation is worse, especially in the rural areas, and that has led to the late detection of infection and treatment. What do you know about cervical cancer, and how do you think we can increase awareness? Those are the questions we've put on Facebook. A number of comments are coming in.
Okay. So
some
Felix,
suggestions.
Yes. So,
Okay.
really, Kwesi Boateng says, we all know a lot about malaria since my dad saw my mom and got married. Till date, with all the knowledge, what have we done about it as a nation? Drinking tea. Baya Jeremiah says, I don't know anything about cervical cancer. Community health workers should be well resourced to carry out public education on the disease. The causes, symptoms, and treatment awareness campaign must start now. Abdul Rahman says, is one of the signs is post-coitus bleeding, and there's still a lot more comments. Adeline Sechofia says, I think there should be a nationwide screening and education on that for early detection and treatment. And Alasan Watara says, Zipline will solve these drones. They can fly it well. I don't know what that has to do with cervical cancer, but those are some of your comments on Facebook.
Let's do more of the comments. And on WhatsApp, Emmanuel Oridu from Tafo, he says, what with matters of corruption? So he's still talking about corruption. He says the NPP government is to be hailed because with the setup of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, it's a clear picture of how the NPP is serious to halt corruption. Let's move on to our issues. And Prince from Sunyain says, this is the first time I'm even hearing it. In fact, what causes it? Okay. And JJ Jeremiah says, we need more. Okay. And well, Araba, some compliments. It says, nice hair, Madam Araba. So Madam Araba says, thank you. Okay, so those are some interesting comments on WhatsApp. And Araba, what do you think can be done to increase awareness of cervical cancer? Because it's worrying.
One of the comments, one of our viewers noted that
on Facebook.
yeah, well, they noted that, you know, the amount of resources we put into creating awareness about malaria is the same amount we should be pushing towards cervical cancer, because it's killing women.
It is.
And a lot of people are not aware about the disease and even the signs and symptoms.
Exactly.
In order to detect it early and get it addressed. Yeah,
and so I agree with Araba that the same attention we've given to malaria over the years, we should give that same attention to cervical cancer. Let's look at this one, which is coming from Andy. He says, don't worry, Zipline will educate the public through the drones. Really? And that's how we end the interactive segment. My name is Aisha Ibrahim.